Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? In the fairy tale of Snow White, the mirror seems indispensable, but also in everyday life, we constantly consult it to check how presentable or unpresentable we are. And this would be crucial for your development. No, I'm not talking about checking your looks, but about the ability to see or imagine your reflection. It's called the mirror stage, a theory introduced by the psychoanalyst Lacan. In this video, I will try to explain this concept and clarify why it can be linked to mental illness. Please don't forget to press that like and subscribe button for more psychology videos. First things first, how is reflection linked to development? Well, between the age of 6 to 18 months, the child recognizes, becomes interested in, and fascinated about its reflection. It recognizes itself and starts to play with the image. Think about the funny faces children make when looking at themselves. This mirror play helps them to internalize and eventually create a picture of themselves. This external representation of the body doesn't have to be reflected in a physical mirror though. It can also be represented to the infant through the mother or primary caregiver. They interact with the baby and help the process of self-recognition. This is something that constantly happens during our lifetime. We identify with an external representation which helps us to create an imaginary image of who we are. Think about checking your looks in the mirror every morning. When you see a pimple, it might make you more insecure for the rest of the day. This presentation is never 100% accurate. Therefore, Lacan argues that we as humans deceive ourselves all the time. He also states that this deception would be crucial for our human development. Sounds quite ironic, right? Let me explain. The images we see of ourselves create self-affirmation. When a baby stands up against a mirror and then briefly releases it, it shoots an image of itself standing. It's not able to stand by itself yet, but this picture leads to happiness and self-confidence. It will stimulate a child to keep on practicing until it's able to stand without help. The baby creates the image as an anticipation. It shows where it's heading in the future. We keep on doing this in everyday life. We imagine ourselves doing something what we maybe don't master yet. For this, we don't always need a physical mirror. We can picture situations in our head and create virtual images. We visualize ourselves as a successful singer, an exceptional student, or just as somebody who can tie their shoelaces. Took me hours of practice. This image of success will motivate us to keep on going forward. We create an ideal version of ourselves, a version in which we believe. Lacan calls this psychic causality, where a virtual image that comes from the future stimulates us and has a forming effect. These images are constantly evolving and form the ideal self, the representation of who we would like to be, fitter, younger, smarter, etc. This is influenced by the culture, who wants us to be fitter, younger, and smarter. Something that is linked to what Freud called the Uber-Ich. We can see this as our internal observatory. Think about that voice inside your head who criticizes or praises you. Oh my god, you look ridiculous, Karen. Good you complain, Karen. You're not a pushover. The more overlap between how we perceive ourselves, called the ego, and how we want to be, called the ideal ego, the more positive feelings we have. For example, a photo that was just taken. If you look incredible, then this creates positive feelings, but if you look horrendous, you will probably feel less satisfied. We live in an incredible high-achieving society. You should be successful and rich, look amazing, and have an extensive social network. When we don't meet these criteria enforced by our culture, it makes us feel miserable. Certainly in this age of social networks, where we are constantly reminded of the picture-perfect life. It comes as no surprise that this tension between who we are and how we should be plays an important role in illnesses like eating disorders or depression. We can't escape the influence of society. But bear in mind that it is all just a construct. So don't forget, always be kind to yourself.